Did you see that? I came out of the screen. It's time to talk about Children of Men. This is another one I've been looking forward to forever because it's Children of Men. Everybody that knows movies knows what Children of Men is. Everybody knows that this is one of the best movies of the modern era. And so I was looking forward to it. I thought, man, this is going to be so awesome. I love Alfonso Cuaron. He just made the best Harry Potter movie, and it's not close. Prisoner of Azkaban. Anybody that disagrees is wrong. And he went on to make some awesome, wonderful movies that we all remember and love. Like, for example, one of his best movies that was nominated for Oscars, Gravity.
We have to go, go.
Kennedy reports meteorological conditions. Go.
This, though, has a great premise to start off with, a really high-concept, fun premise. The gist of it is that in 2027, for the last decade or so, the entire human race has been infertile. So there's been no children born for who knows how long, 18 years, I think it was. Because the youngest man, who we see die very early on in the movie, was 18 years old, the youngest man on Earth, and they can't have any more kids. But, come to find out, there is a lady pregnant, and they're trying to get her out of... It's England. What? Wow. You know, everything happens here in America. I'll tell you that much. Everything in America happens right here in America. Everything cool happens here. So it's a pretty fun, high-concept premise on its own, but Alfonso Cuaron adds so much to this, directing-wise, that it elevates it, even with the great script and great premise it has. And it has a great script, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Alfonso Cuaron's direction is fantastic. I've heard in interviews and trivia that he wanted to make this kind of a documentary, almost like we were watching something in 2027. The filmmaking alone elevates this movie. Those crazy oneers are amazing. I cannot believe they pulled them off. One long take with that much coordination is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Not only that, though, this world feels so fleshed out. Everything about it is so visceral. It feels like this is legitimate. It feels like this is a world that could happen. Everything's dirty and grungy with just a hint of some future stuff. Like, it's clearly not set in the modern era, but it has modern era things. It's not so far gone where everything is like Blade Runner, but it has a Blade Runner tone to it where everything's just kind of seedy and grimy. Everybody seems to hate each other. The government is horrible. All these illegal immigrants are getting deported. People are just getting murdered for no reason. The troops are storming in and murdering people. It's a really bleak environment, and it sells it very well. I thought the smoking rubble, all the sets, the streets that are littered with trash, all the costumes that are torn to pieces, the cars that are covered in mud. It's just really well done. Alfonso Cuarón knows what he's doing, and I think this movie rules. It is really great. And Clive Owen is the one that's carrying this movie. Without that character, without him, this movie probably would have fallen on its face. He has to be that stoic guy who's not rattled by anything. He sees what's happening, he diagnoses it, he attacks it, and he moves on. He makes the right choices at the right times, and it gets him killed ultimately, but it sparks a hope for humanity that wasn't there before. And that performance is terrific. I mean, there's like two scenes I can think of where he gave emotions. There's one where he starts laughing hysterically, and he's talking with Alfred, Batman's butler, who's a hippie weed-making guy, and he just laughs hysterically, and he's petting a cat. And then the second time is when Julianne Moore gets shot in the neck in one of the more surprising and well-done scenes in the movie, which has been shown to death. It's a clip inside of the car with a one-take spinning camera that's absolutely terrific and exhilarating, perfectly done, captures the craziness of the situation, the emotions of the characters, all in one shot. It's brilliant, but Julianne Moore gets shot in the neck, and they go out into the woods to bury her or just throw her body out, and Clive Owen goes down by a tree, and it's just like, and it's the only other time in the movie when he has a real emotional outcry. The rest of it, he's got to be that stable character for the woman that's pregnant. Her name's Key. Because if he's not, then she may not trust him. She may not go with him. He's constantly has to be that guy, that rock for her.
I'm scared. Please help me.
because he's the one instilling hope in her to continue on to instill hope in everyone else, which is ultimately the theme of the movie, is hope in this bleak, horrible, nightmarish dystopian reality. And it comes through Clive Owen's ability to see through the bullshit. He sees through all the stupid nonsense of this dystopian reality, like the fact that the most famous person on Earth is an 18-year-old guy. And he's just famous because he's a young dude. We've talked about the premise. We've talked about the characters a little bit. I think the plot, though, is one of the best parts of the movie. It's ever escalating. These are the exact type of plots I love. I love when a plot can just feel like it keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. It doesn't need to be what this movie is, where it's just Clive Owen hanging out with a girl, and then at the end there's tanks rolling around, people getting shot, and craziness going on. I just want a plot that pushes itself along. There's choices that happen that push the characters to the next choice, that push them to the next choice, and this does it so well. I'm gonna pound my fist about it, because it's not difficult writing, but it feels like it is, because so many movies just don't do it. It puts the characters in these great situations that bring up crazy tension because you know the stakes. And that's another important piece of this movie, is that it establishes stakes so well. Then like the first 20 minutes, all it's talking about is infertility and how there's no kids and it's like a crisis. Everybody is getting older and older and older. So the fact that it sets up that for so long, once we see that the woman is pregnant next to all those cows, you go, oh shit! Oh, this is crazy right now. And then they try to escape because they're bad guys. Everyone's around them is bad because they all want a piece of this pregnancy because it's, you know, the biggest thing ever. So they're like, oh shit, they got to get away. Oh my God, this is so tense because now we know the stakes. I would love to watch it again. I would love to watch it with friends. I would love to watch it with just about everybody. It's bleak, it's miserable, but also has like a tinge of hope at the end, a little bittersweet nugget. Even though it is sad, and the ending is sad, there's just that little piece of something in there. It's not all misery, which is great. I love when a movie can mask a little piece of hope in just misery. It makes it all that more sweet. So I loved it. I loved it. And for next week, I actually let my Twitter followers decide what movie I was going to watch. So if you're not following me there, go ahead and go follow me. I might do something like this again. I gave 4 options for the weekly classic movie night, and Eyes Wide Shut was picked. So next week, we will be watching the infamous Stanley Kubrick, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman classic, Eyes Wide Shut, a movie I'm very skeptical about. I've heard good things, but I've also heard bad things. I've heard it's long and messy, but we will see. All of Kubrick movies are long, and they're all fantastic. I just haven't seen this yet. So next week, there it is, Eyes Wide Shut.